You're listening to The Blatino Nerd. Uncut, uncensored, unfiltered. Get dirty and keep it nerdy.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of The Blatino Nerd. And this one is, well, just in time for Halloween. It is all about the greatest genre in cinema history, and that would be the horror movie. Joining me on this one is my co-host. You might remember her from episode 3. Welcome back, Jen. That's a throwback. I know. And we are joined by a very, very dear friend of mine, a horror movie fanatic, fucking slay queen, Shreddy Krueger herself. Give it up for my friend Kara. What's good?
Oh, you are far too kind. Thank you.
Thank you for joining me.
Happy to be here.
She's got a Nightmare on Elm Street mug. Like, she is
Scream sweatshirt.
For real, like, she is ready.
Fresh.
So, basically, with this episode, we're going to discuss some of our favorites. There's going to be many many classics, a few gems you might have forgotten, a few that you knew nothing about, and a few that you probably will never fucking watch if you're a normal, sane person. So, we're going to cover all of that here this evening.
Where do you want to start?
So I guess the first question is, when did you guys first realize like you were all into horror movies?
I used to actually be afraid of.
No shit.
Yeah.
Really?
So not until I was like probably a junior in high school did I start liking them.
That's fair.
Yeah.
The complete opposite end of the spectrum. My mom was super into like creepy stuff, serial killers, Twilight Zone. And I remember like begging her to watch Cujo when that movie came out. And against her better judgment, she allowed it. And then after that, we had to have the talk that like it's fake and it's not real. And then after that, I was kind of like, oh, okay, well, that makes sense. Like, and I was into it after that. That was it. Cujo was my first horror movie.
That's awesome.
I remember Cujo. My first horror movie, as long as I can remember. Well, I don't know if it really counts as a horror movie, but my first experience with anything supernatural was the movie Ghost.
Ghost? Okay.
Like, Patrick Swayze is like, Patrick Swayze was like the man. And I remember like laughing and like singing along to all the music in the movie, and all of a sudden just saying, "Bleh." And I was like, wait, whoa, when did this movie get all scary? But the first true horror movie I remember watching was The Exorcist, which I would say probably desensitized me because I'm like 7 years old watching The fucking Exorcist. And like most kids are watching like Barney and Sesame Street. And here I am with my mom, who was also a really big horror fan, watching The Exorcist. And
they said people were leaving that movie because they were like throwing up from it back in the day.
It didn't make me throw up, but I had so many questions about what that little girl was doing with the cross as a kid. And my love kind of just grew from there. It's like I really shouldn't have been watching it, but like my mom had already instilled in me that like, this is just a movie and, it's okay. She goes, and I really don't think you're going to go back to school and tell anybody what you saw, which was true. But I was like, the way it's worded now, it's like, don't go back to school and tell anybody what you've seen here today. And
yeah.
Like, okay.
My first was Halloween.
An absolute
classic.
Yeah. And that was back when I was still scared of them. So I had nightmares and thought Michael Myers was going to kill my mom. So, like, I had a dream. Well, it's not a nightmare that I woke up and her head was in the dryer.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, no.
Yeah. Good times. And then I didn't watch them for a long time after
that. I love Halloween, but now thanks to
I'm sorry. I can't remember ever being like scared of horror movies to the point where I had nightmares about them. I used to have nightmares about Kane from WWE, though.
Oh my god.
But to be fair, as a child, that is terrifying. As if, watching a man called The Undertaker beat another man like to a bloody pulp isn't terrifying enough. Now here comes a big red 7-foot tall demon dude with a mask. The first horror movie to scare me, believe it or not, Tales from the Hood.
Tales from the Hood.
That often makes people laugh. But at this point, I had seen The Exorcist. I had seen fucking Halloween. I had seen at least 2 Friday.
What about Leprechaun?
Believe it or not, I didn't see my first Leprechaun movie until I think Leprechaun 3.
Oh my god, there's so many of them.
That one where he was in Vegas. That was the first time I ever saw those movies, and by then I was like, "What the fuck is this?"
There's like 6 of them.
Leprechaun in the Hood.
There's so many Leprechaun movies for no reason.
Yeah, and they always play on Sci-Fi.
Leprechaun in the Hood is my favorite. That is an absolute classic.
Leprechaun in the Hood.
I used to quote Leprechaun in the Hood like word for word. Like my favorite scene in that whole movie is when he's in the nightclub and like the random guy's like standing there and Leprechaun walks in and just goes, "God damn, you a little ugly motherfucker." So then he like throws the guy to the ground. And he's like, "What is that noise?" And he's like, "That's rap." And he's like, "Rap?" He goes, "Yeah, rap." I said, "I'm gonna take this microphone and wrap it around your ugly ass." And I was like, that dude is every black mom ever.
Accurate.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many classics. And what would you guys say is the first horror movie that like made you love horror movies? Scream.
Scream is a good choice.
Definitely Scream for me. Yeah, Scream definitely was a springboard for me because I feel like it was the first movie of like my generation of horror or like our generation of horror.
Right.
So that was a big one for me. I felt like I was kind of like old enough to have chosen to watch that movie on my own. And then obviously the plot twist, 2 killers. No one saw that. I didn't see it coming. I don't think anybody else saw it coming because that really wasn't like a thing.
Yeah, Scream is a classic. I would have to say Nightmare on Elm Street for me, personally, is what got me into when I started really liking horror.
Right.
I bought the whole VHS box set at remember the coconut store?
Yes. Oh my God, coconuts.
Guess who used to work there?
You did? Oh my God.
I work at CD World.
Oh my God, CD World! Yeah.
Yes. I work at CD World.
Dude, at Coconut.
So I would help out at Coconut sometimes, but yes, I can appreciate that.
Yeah, I bought the VHS set there, and then after I bought that Nightmare on Elm Street, I watched every single one of them, and I loved it.
Right.
Especially the third one. I like the third Nightmare on Elm Street.
That's the one with when they're in that asylum, right?
No, that's 2.
That's 2. Okay.
3, I don't even know how to describe 3. I would have to rewatch.
No. My first.
Wait, you might be right.
My first true love of horror, actually, another Wes Craven movie. I know we spoke earlier and you hadn't seen it, but have you ever seen People Under the Stairs?
I have heard of it, and I have actually not watched it.
Okay, so People Under the Stairs is actually another movie directed by Wes Craven, one of his more like underrated gems.
I do like Wes Craven.
It is one of the wildest movies ever, and the plot twist. I mean, the plot twist has since been repeated, but like that was like the king at that time of like that kind of plot twist, like I'm pretty sure like it started with that movie, and it is such a wild ride. It's basically like this kid ends up in the house with this really weird couple. Who, slight spoiler coming for you guys watching, because even if I tell you the plot twist, you're probably going to want to watch it. But spoiler alert for the rest of you. So they only refer to themselves as Mama and Papa,
Okay.
which is weird enough. So then the kid is like investigating the house, and he meets this little girl who lives with them, who they like pretend is like their daughter, but you later find out is like they kidnapped the girl.
Oh.
And they've been keeping a whole bunch of people like under the steps in their house in the basement. And a lot of them have been there so long that they've like resort to just straight up being cannibals because they've never really had anything else to eat.
Yikes.
And here's where the plot twist kicks in. You later find out that Mama and Papa are actually an incestuous couple. They're actually brother and sister.
What?
And it is like the wildest fucking movie ever. And that was like the first horror movie where anytime it was on TV, which they never played on TV anymore.
No, I never used to
don't
see
know
it.
why. But anytime it was on TV, my mom would yell, "Julian, people under the stairs!" And I would immediately drop whatever I was doing.
I gotta watch it.
People Under the Stairs is so good. That was my first real like love of like that was my first real horror movie. I'm like, I love this movie. And even now, if it were on TV right now by some miracle, I'd probably end this fucking episode and be like, bye guys, this is it. We're done.
What about Texas Chainsaw though?
Now, about as far as Texas Chainsaw, I have a very love-hate relationship with Texas Chainsaw. Like, there's what, 6 of them at this point?
Some of them are so bad.
Some of them are fucking like just unwatchable. And then like the original, I border on. I'll watch the original, but I have to be in the mood for it.
Yeah.
The more recent one, Texas Chainsaw 3D, I kind of have an obsession with Alexandra Daddario, like the chick who stars in it. So like
with the nice eyes?
Yes. So like you could pretty much make a movie of her sitting in front of a fireplace, like listening to fucking Frank Sinatra for 2 hours, and I'll see it in theaters like 4 times.
I didn't hate that one as much as people did.
I didn't. I just thought it was
Wasn't Trey Songz in that?
Trey Songz was in it, and like the most random casting ever. It was like, how do we connect to little girls and make their Chinese tickle? We need to make little girls Chinese tickle with this movie. Trey Songz.
Oh my god.
Then there's the one.
I didn't see 3D. I've seen like all the other ones, and I saw the one that's just called like Texas Chainsaw. It's not.
Yeah.
It's the girl goes back to her house, or she inherited the house.
Right.
Leatherface is in the basement, so she inherits Leatherface. Did you see that one?
Yes. And it's
Not
funny
great.
because
Not great.
it's not, but it's funny. I learned that one is technically the actual Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. Like, that's the one that Tobe Hooper counts as the sequel. Like, it does away with all the other ones.
Oh, really?
Kind of like how the more recent Halloween erases every Halloween after the first one.
Yeah.
That's what they did with Texas Chainsaw. Like, that's supposed to be like the actual sequel. And I was like, okay.
I liked that new Halloween too.
I did. I think it's brilliant.
I like what they did with Jamie Lee Curtis's like character treatment on how she's like paranoid and crazy and
Yeah.
because that's
that was
realistic.
Yeah,
I like the way that they treated her character.
And I love that, like, I was going to say they honored John Carpenter, but it's not like he's dead or anything. But, like, I
know what you mean.
I love how, like, they stayed true to, like, his vision. And, like, they could have completely crapped all over this. And they were like, no, like, we really want that original, like, 1978 feel to this. And that's what it felt like.
It did. It had the old school vibes. It definitely did.
Naturally, the fucking
I
gore
was a fan.
Yeah. Naturally, the gore hound in me wishes there were way more blood, but I get it. So
I agree.
Yeah,
like
the
gore.
only like I feel like gory scene really that stuck out to me in that movie was when he like he stepped on that dude's head.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
yeah.
That was it. I mean, the rest of the kills were fine.
Yeah, they were meh.
Nothing to write home about. Yeah.
Did you ever watch?
But I thought the movie
Terrifier?
overall was good. Actually, haven't.
Oh my god, have you seen that yet?
Yeah, I watched it with you.
Oh yeah. Oh my god, you got to watch that movie.
Hey.
It's great.
It was pretty much like, hey, Jordan, you're terrified of clowns. Want to watch a movie about a killer mime? And I'm like, yeah, why the fuck not? Sure.
That movie had like major like B horror vibes, but like the kills were good.
It was fucking brilliant.
It was super gory. I would definitely recommend watching it.
Yeah. Is it still on Netflix?
I'm not sure. Maybe, especially around Halloween time. They're making a second one.
Oh,
Confirmed.
Great. More killer mime. Fantastic.
I'm sure I'll find it.
I am prepared to not sleep for the next 6 months.
That clown is scarier than like, the clown from It. Like I love Pennywise, but the Terrifier clown is just like, yikes.
Okay, so I won't.
Clowns don't do it for me.
No,
Mm-mm.
you don't like them though.
No, they don't do it for me. No. They do nothing. Like, I could care less. I think it was because my cousin used to be a clown.
I got them scaring Jordan now. Actually,
true story. My cousin used to be a clown, so I always was comfortable because my cousin was one. So they don't scare me at all. Pennywise, even like the first It movie when I was younger, didn't scare me.
Really?
No, they're not scary to me. They're like. They're laughable to me. Like if you find me a clown, this is a challenge for the audience and for you guys. Find me a clown movie that's going to scare me.
When I was a kid, it actually scared the shit out of me. I used to think it was gonna follow me home.
For me, that wouldn't be a very tough challenge because it's like we need to find a clown movie that'll scare Jordan. Oh, here we go. Any episode of Scooby-Doo involving a clown ever. Yeah, that'll do it. The irony being, I love Killer Clowns from Outer Space and used to be an ICP
I've
fan.
actually never seen Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Really? Fun fact, that's where Chiodos gets their name from.
Really?
Killer Clowns from Outer Space was directed by the Chiodos brothers.
Oh.
Well, the Chiodo brothers. They added the S.
Dude, I've heard good things about that movie, though.
It's a ride. It's a dumb, fun little horror movie. I also used to be an ICP fan, which is like super ironic. But like with that, I've seen them without their face paint, and they're just so laughably unattractive that the paint is an improvement.
I was going to say, maybe that's why they do it. They're just trying to hide.
If you expected them to not be unattractive, then
well,
like you don't look at that group of dudes and be like, yeah, those guys are going to be real hot with their face paint off.
Great. Violent J and fucking Shaggy 2 Dope are going to see this, and they're going to hunt me down now. It's like, please don't.
They can hunt me down. I was the one that was insulting them. They can come find me.
I used to be a juggalo. I swear. We're cool, man. We're cool.
Be cool.
Be cool.
I'm trying to think. What's another really good horror movie?
What's another really good horror movie? Boy, we can do this. I can do this forever.
Well, I like the gore. So a lot of people don't like Eli Roth, but I love Eli Roth. I don't know.
I like Eli Roth.
Do you? So I've met people who are like, I just hate his movies, and I'm like, but I love them.
Eli Roth is the prettiest ugly man I've ever seen in my life.
Wasn't it?
The thing is, I feel like you have to go into his movies like you get out of it like what you get out of it, and that's it.
Yeah.
You can't expect your life to be changed. You're going and you're getting an Eli Roth movie, and you're getting the fuck out of there.
What about like a favorite Eli Roth movie? Would you go with Hostel? Because I like Green Inferno, even though I know it's based on Cannibal Holocaust.
Believe it or not, I was a big fan of his Death Wish remake.
Death Wish? I actually didn't see that
with
one.
Bruce Willis.
I'll have to watch that.
Fucking brilliant. And like, it's not a horror movie, but it has those Eli Roth touches.
I know. I saw the commercial.
So like,
it was gore.
when something happens, you're like, yeah, I get it. I was also a really big fan of Aftershock.
I thought you were going to say Cabin Fever. I will tell you what I did like about Hostel. For sure, Hostel was the first horror movie I ever remember watching. And I'm sure it wasn't the first one to do it, but it's the first one that I remember to see it, like seeing it in, was someone threw up. Someone vomited in that movie. And I always thought, I know it sounds weird, but I always thought when I was watching these movies, like, you just watch someone get like stabbed to death or decapitated or like whatever, and no one ever fucking throws up. It's not realistic. Hostel,
Right.
puke.
Yeah. Yeah. Hostel was actually really realistic. It was scary. You're like, this shit happens in Europe. I just know it.
Oh, hell yeah.
I got a
I
sneaking
believe
suspicion.
that you could have played that on the news and I'd have been like, yeah, that totally happened.
Yeah.
We've pissed off ICP fans and Europeans in the same episode. Yes.
I thought, like, Hostel 2, I thought was
Yeah.
excellent.
I actually really enjoyed
I thought they
Hostel
were great
3.
movies. I liked them.
Yeah.
I liked Hostel 3, which I didn't know existed until Erica told me about it.
It's actually not bad.
It isn't, but I had no idea that it even existed, and I watched it, and I was like, oh, okay.
Cabin Fever, the original, is great, though. The remake was fucking... Ugh.
Thanks to Cabin Fever, I laugh whenever someone just says the word pancakes.
Pancake.
There's no fucking pancakes! Pancakes? What is he telling you about?
Oh my God.
Wasn't The Crazies kind of like that, where it was like something in the water that was making them kill each other?
Oh, that movie was actually good, The Crazies. That was a good one.
Was that Eli Roth too?
No.
No,
But that-
no. I don't know who it wasn't. I don't know who directed that one, but that was kind of like, I feel like the ending like was similar with that one, Crazy.
Yeah. They were like all getting infected and like becoming like homicidal, like they were attacking people,
Right.
kind of thing.
I know the original was George Romero.
Really?
Yes.
Wait, there's an original?
I didn't see the
Crazies? Yes. Who directed the
So are we?
remake?
Is that our segue into like 70s and 80s horror movies now?
70s and 80s, that is, for me, that's my era right there. Like, most of my favorite horror films are from like 1975, I would say, to about 1997. Because, and I have to give props to Scream for this, because even now, slashers have had a really hard time having to keep pace with Scream.
Yeah, I agree.
And like, everything has improved since then. Special effects, like CGI. I mean, we still get 90 million remakes a year, but like, so many slasher films since like 1997, and I would even say the sequels have had such a hard time having to keep pace with Scream. So I would say Scream was the last good slasher film of the 90s, or at least the last like 20 years.
Are we going like full Scream franchise or specifically the first Scream movie?
Oh, absolutely, because I don't give a shit what anybody says. Scream 4 was a masterpiece, and I will die on that hill.
I loved Scream 4.
Scream 4
Yeah,
was
I
an
will
absolute
die on that hill
masterpiece.
with you, Jordan, because I love that movie.
Right? That one was good.
Scream 4 was
I loved
fucking
it.
brilliant.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that. I have it on DVD, actually.
I actually saw that in the drive-in
So do
theater
I.
because it came out my birthday weekend.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I was like, and everybody kept asking me, they're like, what do you want for your birthday? And I was like, I really just want to watch a horror movie in a drive-in. Scream 4 comes out that weekend. Let's do it.
That sounds awesome.
That was my only birthday wish. Somebody's got it, please. I just want to see some bitches get their throats cut. That also includes men, because men are bitches too.
I really can't think of any other slashers that I really like.
Now see, slashers are always a thing for me. like I'm like a dog. Like you mentioned slasher, like my ears prick up, and I'm like, go on. So like I'm a fan of like really really cheesy ones. Like there was one I remember. It was called The Burning. The Burning, and basically it was about like this. It was like this old like camp urban legend because that's how every horror movie in the 80s went.
Yeah.
It's always camp. About like this guy who had been like really, really badly burned, hence the name of the title. And he like like went around with like garden shears, and like you would never really see him, which was kind of the suspense. But this music would play, and you would see like the shadow of a dude holding up garden shears, and then like the goriest deaths you can imagine would always like happen right after, and it's like. I believe you finally get a glimpse of him at the end, and it's really underwhelming. And you're like, I liked it better when I couldn't see him.
Yeah.
Best scene in the movie involving garden shears. I Spit on Your Grave.
Yes.
The collective yes. The collective yes of
oh my god, I almost forgot about that until you like mentioned it.
Now, see, that's a movie where I actually enjoy the remake as much as I enjoy the original.
I love the remake.
Yeah, I thought the remake was good. Yeah, I thought it was good. I thought it was a little slow at the beginning, kind of getting into it.
Yeah.
But I thought it was well done.
Same with Last House on the Left and Straw Dogs. I like the originals and the remakes of both of those films.
I never saw Straw Dogs, but I did see the remake of Last House on the Left, and I liked that one too.
I agree. That one was good. I don't know if I saw Straw Dogs actually. I'm not sure.
Straw Dogs was pretty good. Pretty good. It's not like one of those movies because like there are movies where people will say the remake sucked, and then I'm like, well, the original wasn't great either. Like the Amityville Horror.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, that remake with Ryan Reynolds was so bad. And I'm like, the original was fucking terrible too. Like
the movie, I felt like that movie didn't have much to work with. As far as plot, I guess.
I don't do well with like haunting and demonic movies. They don't usually hold my interest. I feel like they're all the same.
They're pretty overdone as far as like horror movies go. Like that's always the go-to, you know, like Paranormal Activity, and then they spun it out into like a million movies.
I appreciate Paranormal Activity for what it was. The first one.
The first one's great, but the other ones were all
the 10 that followed.
Yeah, like you should have just.
I wasn't a fan. I saw the first one in the movie theater, and I just like walked out of there, and I was like, that was the corniest shit I've ever seen in my life. I just couldn't do it. One like demonic movie that I didn't hate was Sinister.
I love Sinister.
I liked Sinister, but like the like a possession of Emily Rose or whatever the hell, like all that was like Exorcist already did it better. You're not gonna do it better than that.
Agreed. Oh, there we go. She's back.
Someone was calling me.
Gotcha. So unpopular opinion. I hated Sinister.
Really?
I attempted to watch it.
Good. I liked it.
I attempted to watch it 3 times in theaters, and literally every single time I fell asleep.
I love the first one. The second one was an abomination, though.
See, I disliked the first one so much that I never even gave the second one a shot.
Oh my god, it was really bad. I didn't
see the second one.
Just don't do it. It's so bad. I was like so excited. I was like, wow, I really like the first one. Like this will be good. And then I was just like,
there was another movie like that, like a few years ago, and it came out, and everybody hyped the fuck out of it. And then I saw it, and I was like, bro, what?
Happy Death Day?
No, I love Happy Death Day.
I was going to say, I love that movie too.
Happy Death Day was brilliant. I even liked the sequel. It was a nice, twist to an already ridiculous plot.
I don't think I saw the second one.
Where it like spreads out to like all of her friends. All of her friends keep dying repeatedly.
Really?
Yeah, all of her friends keep dying repeatedly. I'm trying to think of it.
Did you see It Follows by any chance?
Yes.
Yes.
I love that.
I like that movie a lot. Did you not like it?
The concept really got me.
The sex?
Because we're talking about
don't be a whore. It's pretty much
like
like
I guess that's to Randy's rules from Scream. Don't have sex.
Yeah.
That's true.
Every horror movie, when you have sex, you get punished. You know?
Yeah.
Jason always killed them, like right after they fucked.
The only one who didn't. Yeah, the only one who didn't was Nev Campbell in Scream. Gotta go back to Scream, breaking all the rules.
Oh my god.
I don't know. Well, I don't know about now, but back then I definitely would have had sex with Nev Campbell. I don't care if I was like 9.
It's the scrunchie for me. It's the scrunchie.
Yeah, it's good. Oh, 90s fashion.
90s fashion is good. What about Rob Zombie? Do we all like Rob Zombie?
Okay, so he's another one. His movies are hit and miss with me. For every one good movie he makes, he follows up with 3 completely crappy ones.
What was the one after House of a Thousand Corpses?
Devil's Rejects.
Yeah, I loved that movie. Devil's Rejects was amazing. But don't even get me started on the Halloween remakes. I don't want to talk about it.
I don't mind the first one, but the second one was honestly so bad. Like, I think I lost years of my life.
Agreed. Like, even with the House of a Thousand Corpses series, the first one, I cut him a break because I'm like, it's his first movie. There's room for improvement.
See, I feel like I'm opposite here because I prefer House of a Thousand Corpses to Devil's Rejects.
That's fair. See, I'm like, if you're a gore hound, a House of a Thousand Corpses is more up your alley. If like you're more into story driven, then the Devil's Rejects is where it's at. However, I would avoid 3 from Hell at all costs.
I didn't.
Yeah, I didn't watch that. I've heard bad things about it, so I just didn't waste my time. I'm the kind of person that like I'll get halfway through a movie, and if I don't like it, I won't finish it. Like I'm
the same way.
Yeah, like we need to have a talk about Back to the Future, fam.
It's just so corny. But we're not here to talk about that today. That's not a horror movie. You can read me for filth any other day. Today's not today.
No, read me for filth. Oh no.
What about the Lords of Salem? Did you see that?
You know, I actually still
I didn't see that one either.
Okay, so people were like iffy on that one, but I actually liked it. Like, it was fucking weird. It had like the weird Rob Zombie vibe.
Right.
Like, I don't know. You gotta watch it. I have it on DVD if you ever want to watch it with me.
Definitely. I also really didn't care for 31.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, I didn't care for 31. Wasn't wild about it. What's another one? It's another Rob Zombie movie. Oh, come on, really? I like the animated one, the Haunted World of El Super Beasto.
I didn't know he had an animated.
Yes.
Oh, you know what? I never saw that one either.
That was really good. That was great.
Halloween 2, they didn't even keep the same like actors though. The remake when he did it.
Yeah.
Like.
I feel like
that was another thing. That was another issue I had completely with that movie was that the casting on a whole was fucking horrendous. Like, not good.
Agreed. I feel like even Rob himself gave up like halfway through that movie. I think he was just like, bro, what? Fuck it.
What are we doing here?
Like, why? Why am I doing this? I made fucking House of a Thousand Corpses, damn it. I'm better than this.
Speaking of House of a Thousand Corpses, that's what I am. I'm a gorehound.
I thought you were going to say a corpse.
I'm a corpse.
Hi, I'm a corpse.
I like gory movies. Like, once I got into horror, I was all about the gore.
Now, see, that is one movie that made me realize I was into really, really gory films. Is one you've heard me gush about numerous times, Dr. Giggles.
Dr. Giggles. We were
That
watching
was
the clips the other day.
yes, that was how I knew I was into like really, really gory films. And I even do that stupid laugh from time to time because of that movie.
I'm trying to think of like the goriest. I don't mind gore. Like, it doesn't bother me. I can watch it. I'm trying to think of like the goriest movie that I've seen that like jumps out in my mind, and I can't. I've seen like things that are like shock gore,
Yeah.
like the Poughkeepsie tapes, which I didn't like, honestly.
I didn't like it either.
What's that other movie? There's like another movie that they marketed as a snuff film, and for the life of me, I can't think of the name of it. Anyway, I'm not a fan of that either. I just like the shock isn't there for me. My phone keeps falling out of this thing.
That's fair.
That's why I like a lot of like the extreme horrors, because they're very gory.
Like Martyrs.
Martyrs, yes.
Like
Martyrs.
Not the remake for everyone watching. That one was so trash. We won't talk much about it.
Won't talk much about what? Exactly.
The first Martyrs is amazing. Like, it is very brutal, but it also makes you think, you know? Like, it's not just like gore for the sense of gore.
Right.
There was like a reason.
I want to know what the fuck was going on in France during that period that they kept releasing shit like that.
Well, they had High Tension.
High Tension is an absolute classic. That is one of my all-time favorites.
High Tension is a good one. I'm trying to think.
That also started my obsession with the band Muse.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Because that one song that keeps playing throughout the movie is the song Newborn by Muse.
Well, there was also... I'm trying to think. What else is a French film? Raw was French, but that was newer.
Irreversible.
Oh, I never saw that one yet.
It's a good movie, but there's a very, very, very intense rape scene in it. So if anybody decides to watch it, I just prepare yourself, because it's not only graphic, but it's also long. Like that rape scene alone takes up like 15 minutes of the movie. So it's very intense. And it's very intense and it can be triggering, but it's a really good movie overall.
Sorry, I'm having like severe camera issues, and I really don't want to hold my phone for however long this is going to take. So I'm trying to like restring it back up over here.
It's all good. We're gonna leave this in the episode because I'm like, sometimes things like these happen, folks.
That's totally fine. If you could see how like rigged up my phone was right now, I just don't want to hold it, and there's nowhere really for me to put it other than where it is right now.
Right.
There we go. She's back.
Yeah, there you go.
And she's back.
All right. It was like falling and getting lower and lower and lower, and I'm like, nobody wants to see what's going on down here. So
sounds like my last Saturday night.
We'll see how long this lasts. Hey, my sweatpants that I'm rocking, my Black Craft Ouija board sweatpants.
Ooh.
But anyway, yes.
What about
French
Saw?
films, Martyrs.
Okay, so okay, I just want to throw out there, I don't hate Saw. It took me. I don't. I'm not. I said I don't.
I love it.
Same.
I love Saw.
It took a while for me.
I feel like Saw was so big at the time. Like, when that came out, people were like, oh my God. And, you know, the first one had like no budget.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
It was still done really well.
Agreed. So when the first Saw came out, I was with a bunch of people that like I didn't really want to be like at a movie theater with anyway. So everybody was like, "Oh my God, this movie's so amazing," and I'm like, "I would rather be anywhere right now but here." So like I was just so pissed off about the situation that I was in that I didn't give myself time to properly enjoy the movie. So by the time I sat down to actually watch them again, I think we were already on like Saw 4. So I don't hate them, but I was actually just kind of late to the party.
You were late to the party?
I was late to the Saw party. Plus, you know, once you've fucking seen, once you've watched the audition or Grotesque, everything else is kind of just like Saw's like, man,
Oh,
Saw,
the audition.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
That is a really good
That's
one.
a good one.
The Japanese.
I think
are
a lot
another...
of people. Yeah, I think a lot of people haven't seen that movie. Maybe not people our age because it's a bit older.
Yeah.
But that one really flipped the script. I could appreciate that movie.
Now, see, Asian horror is a very, it's a very, I guess I would say it's another strong favorite of mine. Like between like Japanese and Korean horror films, because I'm a big fan of like The Audition. It's not really horror, but it should be. I love Ichi the Killer.
I never saw that. I really need to.
Ichi the Killer is so it's wild. Quentin Tarantino says that it's one of his movies, like one of his favorite movies, and we all know how fucking vivid and twisted Quentin Tarantino can be. What was it? Jeez. Oh, here's the poster right here in front of me. Lord of Illusions. That was
I never saw that, but I love Hellraiser.
Yes. That was another one of Clive Barker's. So Hellraiser was actually the first movie to give me nightmares.
I could see it.
Yes. But it was like hard to explain.
Sorry, when I start talking, I think there's like a little bit of a delay.
Very good.
I feel like Hellraiser was one of those movies that started to really push the envelope of like bringing in that kind of like sex sells, but like make it creepy kind of thing. Where they kind of did like that real like, well, obviously the outfits of all the demons. What do you want to call what I forget what they're called.
Like BDSM kind of?
No, like the what's yes, but what the demons are called in the movie.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Like, whoa,
but yeah, like
that's a whole different episode there, man.
Are we doing that episode too?
I mean, we could.
Like the characters in the movie, yes, they were kind of like, and I don't want to use the word androgynous, but yes, like very inspired by like BDSM, like Club Kid, drag, that kind of, and I felt like that was kind of bringing it into the forefront. I feel like that line of like horror movies and that kind of unspoken, like everybody wants to watch sexy stuff on TV, but like no one wants to talk about it. Like Hellraiser kind of pushed it with the like aesthetic of that movie.
Yeah, because they kept talking about like pain and pleasure, like that was like the whole thing.
And
yeah, exactly.
My funniest memory with Hellraiser is, again, I remember that was the first horror movie to give me nightmares. And now that I think about it now, I'm like laughing, but like as a kid, without trying to sound as racist as possible, I kept trying to explain to my mom that I had a dream that a big bald white man was chasing me.
Pinhead?
Yeah, but like I didn't know his name was Pinhead at the time. I just kept calling him the big bald white man. So my mom either had like thought it was like some creeper or like Steve Wilkos.
Steve Wilkos. See, the Chatterer was way more horrific to me than Pinhead ever was.
Chatterer was just scary.
Oh God, nightmare.
I once went on a date with a girl who looked like a Chatterer.
I'm guessing it didn't work out.
I don't really know if I guess I should save that for the sex episode.
True. Fair enough.
She definitely felt like a chatter.
Oh my god.
Jeez, there was just so many fucking good movies. I feel like we can go on all day.
I really could.
Yeah. So
We didn't even touch Child's Play.
I was just about to say we can get to Child's Play or Friday the 13th, and this wouldn't be a horror episode if you didn't mention absolute classics. Which, before we go into Child's Play, I would like to say that I enjoyed the remake way more than I thought I would. It's okay if you didn't. Trust me, it's A-okay.
Who I didn't like, what's that girl's name? Aubrey
Plaza.
Yeah, I don't like her. Not a fan. I know. Read me. It's fine. I don't like her.
That's fair.
Aubrey Plaza, who was that?
She's the actress who's always very like deadpan and monotone in like all of her movies.
Okay. Right.
Like, did you ever watch Parks and Recreation?
Yes.
She was the secretary.
Oh, I love her though.
Yeah, was like always super deadpan about everything.
She kind of reminds me of me sometimes.
She also reminds me of me sometimes, which might be why I hate her.
Yeah.
One of my favorite like things Aubrey Plaza has ever done, she did like this World of Warcraft commercial, and she was like, and then same deadpan delivery. She goes, "So it was my birthday last week, and my boyfriend bought me World of Warcraft." And I looked at him and was like, "I said diamonds, motherfucker." So then I started playing or whatever, and then weeks go by, and he comes to me and he goes, "I feel like you like that game more than you like me." Then I realized he was right, so I dumped him, and I was like, "Any bitch ever dumps me for World of Warcraft, like I hope you get hit by." Like, I hope you get hit by a speeding bicycle. Like, I don't wish death on anybody, but I really wish you pain and discomfort from a speeding bicycle.
If you dump someone for a while.
I am a gamer, but God, do I hate World of Warcraft.
I hate World of Warcraft too. That's okay.
Right. that look I was giving right now, and I'm like, please don't tell me you're a WoW player.
No, I have absolutely no input because you could put a World of Warcraft character on the screen right now and I couldn't identify it. I know nothing about it.
I can only identify a Night Elf Mohawk, and that's because of Mr. T.
Fair enough.
And that's because they were made specifically because of Mr. T, which I think is amazing.
I pity the.
So a Night Elf Mohawk is the only character from World of Warcraft I can readily identify. And whatever character Leroy Jenkins was. But
all right, what about Friday the 13th? Because they had a remake that was kind of
See, I kind of have a man crush on Jared Padalecki. So,
he is hot. Yeah.
I didn't hate the remake, honestly, but I will say Friday the 13th overall, not my favorite franchise.
I do agree with that. Like, Halloween and Nightmare on Elm Street will always be above it for me.
I like Friday the 13th.
Like Jason has no personality.
Yeah.
Sorry, I said Jason has no personality.
No, that's fair.
What do you like about it?
I enjoy Friday the 13th. However, I don't get the fascination with them literally after the fourth film.
Yeah.
I have the first 8, and I feel like people who, and this is not an insult to anybody, and if you're insulted, turn off YouTube, find something else to watch. I feel like the people who really, really, really like that franchise use it as a personality trait.
Because they're all about, like, Jason?
Yeah, and it's like, so tell me about yourself. And the first thing is like, oh my God, so I love Friday the 13th. And it's like, cool. I like dogs.
I always thought Nightmare on Elm Street shit all over Friday the 13th.
Oh,
yeah,
absolutely. And I think it's bullshit that Jason won in Freddy vs.
Yeah.
That's such crap.
Freddy is first of all, it's cooler. He's going in your dreams. Like, that is just cool. And I like his whole getup too. You know?
Yes,
like
absolutely.
The sweater, he's creepy with the children.
I will say though, the fucking soundtrack to Freddy vs. Jason is iconic.
Yeah.
Like my taste in music was shaped largely by the Freddy vs. Jason album.
And they were funny though.
They were.
It wasn't just like a serious movie. There were jokes in there.
It's funny because Freddy vs. Jason and back to Child's Play, Bride of Chucky were directed by the same guy. So it's that same level of humor.
Really?
Yes.
I loved Freddy vs. Jason. I thought that was such a fun movie.
And I love Bride of Chucky for the same reason. Now, back to Child's Play. Now, see, I enjoy the Child's Play franchise more than I enjoy Friday the 13th. I know that's super unpopular opinion, but see, to me, it seems like Child's Play was, despite what the creator says, to me, Child's Play didn't seem like a franchise that was ever meant to be taken seriously. Whereas Friday the 13th, it just completely goes off the rails by like part 5.
Jason Goes to Space.
Yeah, like what the fuck was that? First of all, Jason X. What was that?
That was it. Jason X. Oh, an abomination.
So fucking bad.
Yeah.
I will say, as terrible as that movie is, it does have 2 of my favorite kills in any horror movie ever. The one where he freezes the chick's face in fucking liquid hydrogen and just fucking bashes it against the counter, like chunks of face go everywhere. And when he fucking bags up the 2 chicks in the sleeping bags and starts beating the shit out of them with each other, I think that's fucking brilliant. That movie's terrible, but goddamn, that's amazing.
It's like the only redeeming part of the entire fucking movie.
Oh, absolutely.
All those, like, the horror movies always end up going to space somehow, though. There was, like, a Hellraiser one.
Yeah, and Leprechaun.
Wasn't there a Leprechaun one, too?
Yes, the 4th one. He ends up in space.
Fuck.
So
Is that, like, a thing? Horror movies gotta end up in space?
I mean, I would watch the shit out of Freddy Goes to Space.
Freddy is so sassy, though. Like, he would run space. Like, he would make it his bitch.
He really would.
Those little, like, I want to go put on my Freddy glove right now and, like...
Oh.
Chance of Freddy Glove, it's awesome. I would be disappointed if, like, at some point in the Scream franchise, they don't end up in space.
End up in space?
Scream. Because, in space, no one can hear you scream. It's the perfect premise.
Oh, that's true. Scream goes to Mars or something.
Ghostface in your anus.
That's a different kind of movie.
I mean, is it though?
It's the best of both worlds.
I feel like there's a Scream porn parody out there and I'm missing out because I feel like that.
Apparently there's a lot of horror porn parodies because someone mentioned it to me once and I said, oh, that's real. And they're like, oh boy.
But yeah, that's Rule 34. You know that?
What?
If it exists, there's a porn.
True.
It's Rule 34. There's a Social Network porn parody. And it's basically like some guy who looks like Mark Zuckerberg just fucking getting like social media pun. It's fucking great. Yeah. There's also like a Twilight porn parody, which is just a bunch of like random chicks like getting gangbanged by vampires and werewolves.
Lovely.
There's a Simpsons porn parody, which yes, everyone is yellow, because I know that's what you're all thinking. Yeah, but if it exists, there's a porn for it. And this conversation, as they always do, has just gone completely off the rails. I gotta tell you, like this is the point of the conversation. We're like, how the fuck did? Yes, there's even a Child's Play porn parody, which some dude dressed like Chucky, piping a chick dressed like Tiffany, holding a knife.
Wow.
Yep.
I want to say I'm surprised, but I'm not.
No, I'm not. Again, that's Rule 34. If it exists, there is porn. I'm waiting for somebody to make like the first like Instagram porn. I know it's gonna happen.
Instagram porn?
Yeah, absolutely. It's gonna be like an Instagram porn parody. She's gonna be like the Instagram logo fucking the shit out of TikTok.
Oh my god.
Someone's definitely gonna make it now. You just put it out there.
Yeah, you're putting it into the universe.
You slap a big old parental advisory sticker right over this episode. Put the little ones to bed. we killing hoes and fucking the mirror. Yeah, so now that this conversation has completely derailed, but yeah, I feel like it's a thing that like everybody goes into space. Everybody will eventually have a child, or there will be like a new generation to take over. It's just that's always how it happens. Um, what's another? What's another fucking classic of cinema? Or more like it. Well, you can't really talk about great cheesy 70s 80s horror films without going into Evil Dead now, can you?
Evil Dead.
No. No, gotta talk about Evil Dead.
Oh, okay. I thought that note was something else.
No, I love Evil Dead.
Okay, good.
Oh god, I thought she was saying she didn't like it.
I'm over here ready to go full SpongeBob. Those words, is it possible to use them together in a sentence like that?
I can tell you a really funny story about Evil Dead that really doesn't actually have anything to do with the movie itself, but I went on a date with a guy and he asked me if I wanted to go back to his house and watch a movie, and I was like, yeah, sure. And he chose Evil Dead, and I was like, cool, this is going really well. He had a lot of like animals in his house, a lot of reptiles, and there was an empty tank next to his couch, and it was dark, and I was like, oh, what's in this tank? Oh, a gecko, a lizard. He had a bird. That's red flags everywhere. Should have got out of there right away. Empty tank. And we're chilling, we're on the couch, and all of a sudden I see something like out of the corner of my eye. Fucking tarantula. I was like, I gotta go. Never called him back.
Yeah. That's a no from me.
Yeah, so it took me a while to watch Evil Dead again after that, but I can appreciate it now.
I like spiders, but you ain't about to call me over Netflix and chill and turn this into an episode of Animal
Netflix,
Planet.
chill, and Tarantula?
Yeah, like we over here for Netflix and chill. You done turned into fucking Animal Planet. Back over there, Bindi Irwin.
Yeah, it was the weirdest experience of my life. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go, and you're never gonna see me again. Goodbye.
I don't know if I have any weird heart. Like
He
I
lived
don't
in
know if I have any
Linden,
weird...
so that should have been my first red flag.
I can tell you some stories about a person in Linden I dated.
Linden?
The fuck it is with Linden. What's going on?
They got psychos there apparently?
Bro, Linden is like fucking...
Linden's gonna come for me after this.
Linden is like its own planet, bro.
I'm gonna get dragged so hard, but it's worth it. It's fine.
Linden is like its own planet, seriously.
I got lost there once when I was young, driving home from down the shore. And I was just like,
If you're from Linden and you're watching this,
we're
welcome.
sorry.
I'm sorry, welcome.
Evil Dead, what about the remake? Because that's a remake that I actually love.
I went into the remake, I was expecting nothing. But I actually met Bruce Campbell in Philadelphia while the remake was still like really early in development. And I asked him, and I was like, well, how do you feel about the Evil Dead remake? So he goes, I'm going to tell you something, but you have to come close. So, it's Bruce Campbell. So I get as close as possible. And he like leans in and he goes, it's happening. It's coming. And there is nothing you can fucking do about it. And I was like, I guess. I'm like, that's the most Bruce Campbell response ever. But I'm like, I guess. And then I saw the remake. And I was like, you know what? This is fucking great. I'm fine with this. And the fucking, I lost my shit at the end credit scene where Ash himself appears. And I was like, yes. Fuck yes. But, because of Evil Dead, I still won't go camping. I don't go camping. And I don't like random houses that sit in, long stretches of land where nothing else is nearby. Just if you go right down Hamburg Turnpike here, there's this random house that sits there, and there are no other houses next to it. And then the very next thing is ShopRite and McDonald's. I feel like that's a red flag because you live by no other house. Like you live by no other houses, and like you have no neighbors. And I feel like if you go in there, the only like TV channel they have is like the TV channel in the hotel that's like about the hotel.
They're not watching TV. They're throwing people down wells up in that bitch. That's Buffalo Bill's house.
Oh, absolutely.
What about like piggybacking off of Evil Dead? Drag Me to Hell.
I love.
Thank you. I have been stating for years that Drag Me to Hell is a great movie, and I think everybody
amazing.
It is, and everybody just needs to get the fuck over it because Drag Me to Hell is a great movie.
Gives me very Evil Dead vibes for sure.
Yes.
Yeah, that movie is good. I remember people being like, "It sucks."
I don't think it sucked. I mean, it's not like my favorite movie ever, but I thought it was good. I've watched it more than once.
Mm-hmm. It is legitimately one of my favorite movies. I'm not even gonna lie.
It's also different. Justin Long is in it, and like Justin Long does everything exactly right.
Jeepers.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
I said what I said.
Speaking of Justin Long and bizarre movies, I really, really liked Tusk. I wanted to hate that movie so bad. Like, as I was watching it, I was like, I don't know what the fuck I'm watching. I was like, but I don't know what this is, but I hate it. And then by the end of the movie, I was like, this is, I don't even know how to describe it. I was like, but this is fucking gold. Like, this movie was gold.
I didn't see it.
You need to watch it just because of honestly like how fucking weird it is. Like it is just bizarre. I put that on DVD just because I had heard weird things about it. And when I popped that in my DVD player, I did not expect to see what I saw. That's
what led me to Red State because I was like, when I heard Kevin Smith was making a horror movie, and I was like Jay and Silent Bob?
Kevin Smith?
Really? And then I saw Red State, and I still don't know how I feel about it, but I know I don't hate it. And I've seen that movie at least 3 times. And I don't hate it, but my feelings toward it are still mixed. But I will say Tusk is fucking great.
See, Red State is one that I have to rewatch because I saw it once, like years ago when it first came out. And I barely remember watching it. I do remember all the hype surrounding it because, like you said, Kevin Smith, but I don't barely remember what that movie was even about.
See, I'm a big fan of like those cult type of horror movies. And like when I say cult, but like I say cult, it has a double meaning because I am a fan of like those lesser known horror gems, but I'm also a fan of horror movies based around cults.
Like The Village?
Yes.
I like The Village.
I love The Village. Well, my feelings on The Village have changed because when I first saw it, I thought it was the worst fucking movie ever.
I agree.
I was like, shame on you, M. Night Shyamalan, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, I hate that you keep making these movies and no one tells you to stop. But then I rewatched, I saw The Happening when it came out, and I was like, I take back every terrible thing I ever said about The Village. I was like, I think this is fucking bad. And I love Marky Mark, but anytime like trees are the cause for your pain and suffering, like you have scraped
the ruins.
Oh god,
vines.
That was fucking terrible.
You have scraped the bottom of the toilet bowl on that one. The only good plant horror movie is Little Shop of Horrors. Yeah. Like, let's just get that out of the way.
The ruins, it was like, oh, fine.
Feed me, Seymour.
Feed me, Seymour.
Thanks to that movie, I say tough titty way more than I think I should in life.
Oh man, where do we go from here?
I feel
like we haven't touched on we haven't really talked about Serbian film or any of those. Cannibal Holocaust.
That should be this should be our last part, because those are the
this
worst
is
of the worst.
This
and I
is
mean
where
that in
it
a
gets,
good way, though.
This is where it gets interesting.
A Serbian film. So, Jordan had mentioned this to me because I talked about wanting to get into extreme movies. And I started with Martyrs, and I was like, I like Martyrs. And then Jordan goes, oh, well, there's a Serbian film. And I was just like, you mean the one I keep reading about, like, on the internet? And he's like, yeah. And then I actually found it used at FYE. So, that's how I ended up watching it.
That was going to be my next question, is where did you even find it? Because you can't, I looked for it recently, and you can find it in other countries, but they claim that the discs are unplayable. I'm sure I can find it online, but I haven't searched that hard for a ripped version.
I've heard a combination of things. Like, some of the discs are like unplayable, like either due to like region locking issues, or that like they were like the movie was compressed so badly in the DVD transfer that the movie as it is unwatchable. And I know like you can find it online, but a lot of the times it's like a trimmed down version. So there's a good like 10 or 15 minutes of the film missing. And then like,
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and then those scenes are
mine is full though. Do you think it's a reprint, or you think it's like an original?
I think you may have just lucked into an original.
Yeah, I think so, because if you would have bought it, because I have had my hands on a physical copy of it before, but it was not mine. So I know that they're out there. They do exist. I mean, I've watched it. That's how I saw it. I watched it on DVD. And what a ride it was.
Hey, so just joining us now and actually making her return to the Blatino Nerd is B.
Just in time.
Yeah. What's up? She entered the part just where we're getting raunchy. So, where did I first see it? A Serbian film. Okay, so this is I'm gonna mention a dear friend of mine.
Oh wait, I think
she's coming back. Okay, cool. So, hey,
hi,
welcome back, B. Thank you for joining us.
I only use this app like maybe once ever, so.
Oh, good. I only just started using it for podcast purposes. So
nice. Okay.
And unlike the other app I use, this one doesn't fall apart every 10 minutes. I've been able to record full episodes on it. So.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
But you're just in time. We were talking about a Serbian film. So.
Oh my God! No, I walked in at the worst time. What are you talking about?
We're just getting to the good stuff now.
Yeah, we just reached the good point of the podcast.
Okay, but can we just talk a minute? Is that his real dick?
Can we?
It looks like it's his real penis in that movie.
I believe that's his real dick. It doesn't look like a prosthetic. I've seen prosthetic dicks. That looks like a very
actually
real
look real. Actually, everything in that movie look real, but we know it's not. But
can we just hope that it's not?
I mean, if it is, then kudos.
Listen, let's just tell ourselves that it's not real so that we can feel that much better about it. Okay.
But yeah. So I was with a group of friends, and I'm gonna give a shout out to my boy TJ. Yeah, that's how I saw Serbian.
That's how you saw it?
We were all hanging out one day, and he kept talking about it. And I was like, bro, what is this movie you keep talking? I thought it was a joke because I was like, we were all at the mall, and we were talking about good movies to watch. And, TJ, in his sense of humor back then, he goes, I strongly suggest a Serbian film. And I go, which one?
Oh.
So he goes, no, it is called a Serbian film. And I was like, is there some kind of point to this, TJ? He goes, I swear to God, it's a real movie. And I was like, and they just call it a Serbian film? And he was like, yeah, it's really fucked up though. And I was like, how bad can a movie
Like,
called a Serbian film be?
Challenge accepted.
Yeah. And I was like, a Serbian film? But every time he's like, because he kept mentioning it, he just kept going, I suggest, and this is the exact motion he made, so I'm mimicking him. He goes, I strongly suggest a Serbian film. And I'm like, what the fuck is so great about Serbia in their movies?
Like,
I'm pissed off the Serbians.
I
now,
mean,
too.
oh please, I bet you can find Serbia on a map.
Fair enough. But then I finally saw it, and I was like, bro, what the fuck? What on earth? And like my mom, who has watched it. First of all, I'd like to throw out that one of my mom's favorite movies of all time is Laid to Rest.
I don't think I ever saw that.
It's about this fucking guy who wears like a Chrome Skull mask. His name is actually Chrome Skull, and he is just fucking brutal in like his murders. And that is one of my mom's favorite movies. And we were watching a Serbian film because TJ had the bright idea of watching a Serbian film with my mom in the living room. And my mom got up and she goes, I don't know what the fuck y'all are watching. She goes, but I am not taking part in this anymore. And my mom just got up and walked upstairs. I'm pretty sure my mom took like the longest shower of her life after watching a Serbian film.
I took a shower after watching that movie.
Yeah, I think we all did.
And it's funny because I worked at a trucking company, and one of our drivers was talking about how like he has family in Serbia. So out loud, he goes, what about you, my brother? He goes, you look like a well-traveled man. I go, thank you. And he goes, you ever been to Serbia? I go, no, but I've seen a Serbian film. So the two other like drivers, I'm guessing they've seen it too. The one guy just fucking loses his shit and he's like red from laughing. He goes, oh, that's fucking great. So then he goes, have you seen a Serbian film? Which one? What's your favorite? And I'm like,
this conversation ends here.
I'm like, you poor soul. Someone suggested Martyrs to me.
I
This is
fucking
back
love that movie. That movie is one of those movies where like my boyfriend found it. He doesn't know how he found it. He still doesn't know how he found it. We were like maybe halfway through the movie, and that's when it dawned on me, what are we watching? And can we please stop watching it?
It was
Because
brutal.
that got too much.
I randomly met some girl on Skype before I started dating Erica. This was in like 2000. I want to say it was like 2008, 2009. And randomly, she hits me up at like 2:00 in the morning. And she goes, you ever seen this movie called Martyrs? And I'm like, it's 2 a.m. I'm trying to sleep. But no, enlighten me. What is Martyrs? And she dead ass sent me a link to the movie.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
And like I felt like someone had just given me like an illegal link to like a snuff film.
Yeah, that's basically what it felt like. That's what I felt like I was
Yeah.
watching. That was a brutal movie.
The French are fucking odd. That's all I'm to say about that.
They sure are when it comes to horror
The
movies.
French are fucking odd, man.
See, that's one of those movies where like I would only watch that a second time if I was showing it to someone. But other than that, it's not one of those movies I would actively seek out. Oh, I want to watch a woman get tortured until she's. Oh, no.
I've seen it like 5 or 6 times.
Great, Jordy. That's awesome.
I'm a twisted fucking moo cow.
Mm-mm. It's funny. I was watching a video recently that like listed a bunch of movies that are worth watching at least once, and that was on there along with Audition.
Yes.
Audition. I'm too chicken shit to watch that because
No,
I don't
it's so
like.
good.
No, but I don't like things where like, you know, like little like like. Listen, I'm fine with watching people get like entire limbs cut off because like that's fine. That's like quick, you know. But when it's like little parts of your body that are targeted, that's where I'm like, my whole body just clenches up because you can almost feel for them.
So all I've gathered from this
How did you feel
conversation-
about sorry. How did you feel about Human Centipede?
Listen, I love the first one because it was exactly what I expected. It was exactly what I expected. But the second one, I had to take a break. Like halfway
Second
through
one
the second
is
one.
one of the grossest movies I have ever seen.
Did you watch the uncut one that was on Netflix?
Yes.
I
Wait,
never.
what? Something was cut out of that movie? The fuck?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Who the fuck
Yeah.
censored it? What? It gets worse?
Yeah. Oh yeah, it gets worse. I think what was cut out of there was the thing with the baby.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Mhm.
gross.
That was
Thanks to
bad.
South Park, I love the Human Centipede even more.
Oh hell yeah! I know that shit is funny.
The Human Centipede.
Yep.
Such a good episode. What?
The third movie was a complete waste of time though.
Yeah.
Is that
That
the
was
one where he
bad.
actually made an act like he made a legitimate centipede?
It was all the
like
death row
miles
inmates.
long. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus.
That movie
Not-
was.
Wait, no,
first
it wasn't the
two-
death row inmates. The death row
Yeah.
inmates were turned into the caterpillar, or all their legs and arms were cut off.
Oh my god.
That's fucking twisted. So, if you want a good gore film that is
Mhm.
actually not a horror movie,
Mhm.
I suggest Brawl in Cell Block 99. Okay,
It sounds
so
familiar.
hear me out on this one. Fucking Vince Vaughn is in this movie.
He's the last person I would expect to be in a gory movie.
Yes, and it's not a comedy, not at all. And I know you hear Vince Vaughn and you think that this must be the silliest movie ever. No, it's not a comedy. It's not a parody of anything. And also, I never realized until that movie how tall Vince Vaughn is.
Oh, he's gigantic.
Like, Jesus fuck.
Yeah.
But basically, he plays this guy. He used to be a drug mule, and he decides to like go legit. But then he loses his job as like an auto mechanic, and he comes home and finds his wife cheating on him. So then she's complaining that like he works a lot and they don't have any money, and this guy's giving her all this attention. So he decides he's gonna go back to drug trafficking. So shit goes south. He ends up in prison. And he's told that he has to find this guy and kill him. Otherwise, they're going to mail him the body parts of his unborn child. So it's basically Vince Vaughn beating the shit out of people and dismembering limbs for 2.5 hours.
Oh
I can
my
get behind that.
god.
And it like not only is it fucking bloody, but it's actually like really good. Like the plot is amazing, awesome script, and it's honestly I have to say my favorite Vince Vaughn movie because it's like so real and one of the more visceral. I love that word. One of the more visceral scenes is that he's beating up an inmate, and like the warden of this prison hates his character so much that like his cell doesn't even have a proper toilet. There's literally just like a squatting hole,
Ew.
and the floors are lined with glass. So Vince Vaughn takes this other inmate, fucking presses his face against the floor with the glass, and drags him across the cell. And then fucking kicks the guy over, and you see like what used to be his face. And then like to add injury to insult, just fucking stomps it in. And I was like, Jesus, what the fuck am I watching? So if you want a good gore, like if you want a good gore film without the scares,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's a good one.
Okay.
So yeah. I thank you, Jen, for joining me on this one.
You are very.
I couldn't do this episode without you.
I only saw your friend Bianca, right?
Yes.
Nice to meet you.
Hi, nice to meet you too.
And Kara, it was nice talking with you.
Hi.
Yeah, that is a fun time. Jen will be back on the show. Jen will be back on the show a lot more. Trust me, guys.
BDSM episode.
Yeah, especially that BDSM episode. I'm looking forward to that. Sorry, B. Once again, you came in at like the tail end of some wild shit.
That's okay. That's okay.
So, what other gore films tickles your lady's fancies?
I haven't watched anything like gory in a really long time. I will tell you that like the one like this wasn't even like gory. It was about the slit mouth woman. It was a Japanese movie called Carved.
Mm-hmm.
And this still sticks with me because I had to stop about halfway through because she started going after kids. That's the whole premise of her. So she goes after kids, but like it's different when you're reading the actual legend than when you're actually seeing it portrayed in a film, and you're like, no.
Right.
But then like I was like, you know what? Let me just watch the rest of it. And then like it went on to like go on her whole like backstory and everything. And normally backstories like kill a character like, oh man, like there was all this mystique and like now I know too much about them and now they're not creepy anymore. But in her case, it was you kind of understood why she was so like vengeful.
Right.
As a spirit wandering the streets of somewhere in Japan, going after kids who are out after curfew. But you know, the idea of some like Black Dahlia murder type of woman coming up to you and asking if she's pretty, and then you know you're like, yeah, okay, and then she takes her mask down and you see her mouth is slit ear to ear. It was very unsettling.
I feel like that describes women who go to like. I feel like that describes actual women who go to Black Dahlia murder concerts.
Ew, stop. That's messed up.
Am I pretty? I love the Black Dahlia.
That's actually what my shirt says somewhere on here. It's like, is she pretty? Meanwhile, it's Tomie from Junji Ito's comics. She's a bad bitch.
The baddest.
Oh, nothing badder than someone who keeps coming back after she's been hacked to pieces.
Sounds like my ex-wife.
Great. That's so cheery.
you see the look like Kara's face right now. I don't know if you can see it, but it's a whole mood. I'm here for it. It's a whole ass mood.
This phase is always a mood.
I love your hoodie, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
But yeah, no, actually, a gory movie that I saw like pretty recently, and by pretty recently I mean like a few years ago, and I still think about it, was I Saw the Devil.
That's a good one.
Ah,
I knew
so
we've reached the Korean horror portion. Yes.
Yeah. Revenge horror, I feel like they've got it made with that. Is like they have it like down to a science. Basically, Storm Shadow is Batman in this movie. Or he finds the killer, he's like, I'm gonna keep you alive. Because I feel like that's worse. No, but he was awesome in that.
Nice. What about you, Kara? What are some of your favorite gore hits?
I've been sitting here trying to think about gory movies that I've seen, and I'm like, I just keep going back to Saw. But
no, those are classic.
I know that that's not the goriest, but that's all I can think of right now. You know, it's getting past my bedtime. I'm old, so you know.
I relate.
That's all that's coming to mind right now. I'm trying to look around my room at like some of my posters, but nothing's hitting. I haven't seen a really good gore movie recently. I feel like they haven't been done.
Yeah. Because I feel like right now everyone's just too busy focusing on like paranormal stuff.
Yeah, and I feel like back in the day when people were forced to use actual special effects makeup, it was they focused more on that, whereas now it's more computer generated stuff, and I just feel like the effects aren't the same. So if you have a good gory movie that came out recently that you suggest I watch, by all means let me know.
Yeah.
Like I said, Terrifier, definitely.
Oh, Terrifier is so good.
There you go. See, another Terrifier fan.
If you just want like mindless B movie gore, like that's definitely the movie for you.
I'm actually probably
I'll check it out
as soon as I'm done here.
And it's getting a sequel too.
Yeah, I'm so fucking like over the moon about that.
It looks good.
Have you guys seen it's on Hulu, Good Dog?
I don't have Hulu, so I haven't.
I just deleted my Hulu because I didn't watch anything on it.
Fair. It's either called Good Boy or Good Dog, but basically like this woman's like she's having rough luck in like her love life and just life in general. So someone suggests that she adopt a dog.
Okay.
And as you can imagine, in a movie called Good Boy or Good Dog, I forget the actual name of it, it doesn't pan out the way she does. The dog is like a fucking murderous carnivore.
Also, this is basically like Cujo without the rabies.
And man's best friend without the genetic altering, I guess. Yes, but yeah. Another good horror film involving animals is The Voices with Ryan Reynolds.
Oh, I've heard of that. I never watched it though.
Ryan Reynolds is basically like this like fucking serial killing like fuckhead. Like that's the best way I can think to describe it.
Mm-hmm.
And he keeps having conversations with his cat and his dog throughout the movie.
That's awesome. That sounds like me every day.
The dog is trying to convince him. The dog is trying to convince him that he's not a bad person. And
because that's what dogs would do.
Back to my conversation of why I don't like cats. You're gonna find out why. So like the dog is trying to convince him that like he's a good person no matter what he does, and the cat is like, "You're fucking wasting time talking to animals when you should be out committing murder." So finally,
I can totally see that.
Yeah.
So finally, toward the end of the movie, the dog's like, "You know how I've been telling you that you're a good person and everything's gonna be all right? Yeah, I'm wrong. There was something really wrong with you." And I'm like, but it's so good because his character is like the nicest guy. It's like the nicest guy ever. And then like you see him and then like the acts of murder and you're like, wow, holy shit. But it's him, Anna Kendrick, and I forget who else is in it. But like he really has a crush on Anna Kendrick's character. So like they end up going on a date and then he takes her to his house and then that's when like she realizes that holy shit, this guy is a fucking loony bin. And then like you discover that only he can hear the animals talk, no one else can.
Oh my god.
And Ryan Reynolds plays like his character and he's the voices of the cat and the dog.
Oh.
So the dog kind of sounds like Ryan Reynolds doing an impression of Shadow from Homeward Bound.
Oh my god.
And the cat sounds like Stewie Griffin as a full-grown adult. Like that's the best way I can come up with. Like that's the best way like I can come up with to describe it.
I like that. I should check that out.
And that's what I love about horror. Like you can make a horror movie out of anything.
Yeah, you really could.
Like I'm sitting here like right in front of a fully functional arcade machine and I've already thought of like 5 different horror films I can use to integrate it.
Well, like a sentient arcade machine.
Yeah, like a Ghost in a Machine kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, like Christine.
Yes.
I never saw the movie.
I enjoy that movie very much.
But I read the book and I'm scared to watch the movie.
I have never gone near a Plymouth Fury since I've seen Christine. Like if I'm at a car show and there's a Plymouth Fury, I'll like admire it from a distance.
Because you think that the car is gonna like come alive.
Look, man, jealousy comes in all forms. So does
But
murder.
listen, that book is fucking wild. I plowed through that in like a week. And you know how like Stephen King's books are like a very patient thing to sit through.
Yeah.
I read that entire book in a week because it was just that good. And now I feel like I'm gonna be disappointed with the movie. I watched the trailer. I found the trailer, the old trailer from 1983, and I found several things that I'm mad at already.
That's the best. But
So now,
I'm like waiting for food as I'm talking to you guys. I'm like, where the hell is it?
oh.
But yeah, and it just horror films, they exist. And there's a horror film out there for everybody, even if horror movies aren't your thing.
Yeah.
And that's again one of my biggest things. That's why I say horror films are like, to me, are the best genre in cinema, because they're not perfect, nor are they
No.
trying to be, and there's something out there for everybody.
Yeah, you really can say that about a lot of other movie genres.
Yeah, you can't. Like, comedies pretty much only appeal to, you know, those type of people. Same thing with drama and rom-coms, but you can find a horror movie for anybody.
Yeah.
Whether
Absolutely.
it's something as adorable as Gremlins,
Oh, I
or
like that movie.
something as fucking twisted as a Serbian film. Yes, that's the actual title. Don't ask me which Serbian film. That's it. That's it. It is a fucking Serbian film. And with that, I thank you ladies for joining me this evening.
Well, thank you for having us.
Thanks for having us.
I know we have to go live our regular mortal lives now. Yeah. And I thank you all at home for joining me for yet another wild episode of the Latino Nerd. I will catch you guys on the next one. As always, keep it nerdy and happy Halloween.